Hello, good morning. Welcome to The Big Issue. The Big Issue is live on 97.3 City FM and it's your platform for incisive analysis and riveting conversation. We do this every Saturday from 9 a.m. to 12 midday, where we assemble the very best to discuss the topical issues that have arisen in the course of the week. So today, quite a number of matters have come up in the week. Key amongst them being the search or raiding of the home of the former governor of the Bank of Ghana and a number of invitations and arrests that have been made in respect of matters the state investigative bodies say they are looking into. The week started off with some national security personnel led by Richard Jakpa raiding or visiting or searching the home of former governor of the Bank of Ghana. Many people have said many kinds of things about it, whether it was legal, it was illegal, whether it followed due process or not, the mode or method of the search, why a person like the former governor's home will be searched, etc. This morning, we will table this, or we are tabling this, and we will dissect the issues. Whether anybody is above the law, whether there is a way the search must be conducted. Indeed, a minority leader, Afenyumakin, alleged that the operatives stole 10,000 cedis belonging to the family of Mr. Addison and jewelry belonging to the wife. This is one of the very first times we are hearing this in our long years of searching and investigating people's homes, that operatives have stolen money and have stolen some valuables. We will look at that and see what really the issues are. Others who have said that it is time we moved away from these kinds of investigations. But should that be the point, really? Searches and raids, we are told, are part of the process. Should we be looking at putting an end to these kinds of things? What do you think? We'll be happy to know what you think, and your voices will be heard. People think that it's an abuse of power. Others also think that it is a mode of exacting accountability. We'll delve into all of that. Also on the program, the MPP has issued a statement notifying the public and Adwoa Safo that she will be hauled before the disciplinary committee because of making comments they deemed detrimental to the fortunes and the cohesion of the party. Indeed, Adwoa Safo has been speaking this week, saying quite a number of things about things that happened in her constituency, Dome Kwabena, against Michael Kwe Jr., and Professor Michael Kwe himself, and a number of things that she feels affected the party in the last election. The MPP, as you may know, is seeking to find answers to the reasons why they lost the election. They've set out the Professor Michael Kwe committee, and they are doing their work. We understand they were given 3 months to conclude that work, and we're in the 3rd month, and they are hoping to conclude it before or by end of the month. They have issued a statement saying that people should not be seen venting on air. Adwoa Safo appeared to have done so, and they have quoted the appropriate constitutional provisions of their constitution, saying that she breached the law, and so she will be hauled before the the disciplinary committee. She doesn't appear fazed. We understand she also attended another interview the day after the statement was issued, and some senior members of the party had to drive to her house to stop her from going out for that interview. What's happening in the MPP? We want to understand, and we will delve into that as well later today. The show is live and interactive. As always, you can join us via our WhatsApp line 020-444-7033 or 0549-986-996, and we'll be happy to share your views with the rest of the world. My name is Selom Adonu. I'll take a short break. I'll return, provide some updates, introduce my guests, and then we'll get a discussion underway. Once again, you're welcome.
Our heritage is all we have, and as the years unfold without proper archiving, we may lose it. From the days of oral storytelling and now to having a whole library filled with thousands of books to help us remember our heritage. Paul Ninson, an archivist, photographer, founder and executive director of Dikain, will be our guest.
This is the last clock of Kwame Nkrumah in Kokri, Guinea, in his office, his last office.
It's heavy, huh?
Yes. This is Kwame Nkrumah's last pen in his office in Kokri, Guinea.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Accompanying him will be Ancient Ghana Band, who took us back home to our indigenous music. Join Firma Edunyame this Sunday on the Upside Down Show at 7 p.m. prompt, only on ChannelOne TV.
You're welcome back. This is The Big Issue. We are live on 97.3 City FM. We are also live on our socials and, of course, on Channel One Television. My name is Selom Adonu. This morning, we are looking at two key issues. There's been a number of security matters, raids or searches in people's homes, some invitations and detentions. As we speak, we understand that the former boss of the National Signals Bureau, Kwabena Edubuahin, is actually in the custody of the security agencies, undergoing some processes, some investigation on some matters we will delve into. And indeed, the Deputy Attorney General, Justice Remstrai, says that he visited himself and his wife, and they appear to be doing well, and they have access to their lawyers. And not sure why the wife is there as well, but we will find out in the course of the program. Also, Kenneth Furate's home was searched or raided earlier in the week. Not Kenneth Furate, the former governor of the Bank of Ghana. And that has raised a number of concerns. We understand that the security operative disengaged or dismantled the CCTV equipment. Why so, we do not know. We will find out. We're hearing some interesting things, that the cameras were actually fixed in a manner that showed what was happening at the Bank of Ghana in his home. We do not know, but we will find out more around that. The question really is, how should these processes be carried out? Are these processes, in accord with law? We understand this was done, so the previous one with Kenneth Furate, we are not sure. But does it mean that once a warrant is secured, whatever happens in the home is legal and is in accord with due process, or there's a way it must be carried out? We will get all those answers this morning. Also, the MPP has had some issues. They've invited Adwoa Safo to their disciplinary committee. She's been speaking this week. She's been saying things the party doesn't find palatable. The party says those things do not engender party cohesion and unity, and that they passed a statement that nobody should vent in the manner she was doing on radio or on air. There's a committee set up to look into the reasons why the party lost their election. If you have problems, see the committee and talk with them. But I just have a peculiar problem. The person who chairs the committee is Professor Michael Quay. Professor Michael Quay's son contested her in the Dome Kwabena primaries and defeated her. Michael Quay Jr. appears to be a perennial foe of Adwoa Safo. And so a lot of matters have happened. She's been speaking about how her family is being treated and a whole lot. We will see whether the party's action is proper or it amounts to gagging people from expressing their views. What really is anti-party behavior? What really is doing things not to engender party cohesion? We'll look at all of that today. So my guests this morning are the respected COP retired Bright Oduro, who is a former Director General of the CID, Ghana Police Service. He will help us understand some things in respect of this. He's a former investigator by virtue of his position he held at the CID. Nick Papo Samuel is a member of the NDC, is a private legal practitioner. Seth Champon is a former Eastern Regional Minister and a former chair of the Defense and Interior Committee of Parliament. Franklin Kujo also be here as well. And Professor Kujo Apije Tuya says he's a professor of law at the University of Ghana School of Law. These are my guests. But before that, let me provide you with some updates. Now, the minority in Parliament has accused some officials of the national security led by Richard Jakpa of stealing an amount of 10,000 Ghana cedis and jewelry belonging to, following a raid of the residence of the former governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison. The raid, which took place on Wednesday, 19th March 2025, occurred at the Roman Ridge property of Dr. Addison in Accra. Addressing journalists, the minority leader Alexander Apenyomarkin stated that such Rambo-style approach of party foot soldiers disguising themselves as national security operatives to raid the residence of former government appointees serves as a disincentive to investors. Channel One's parliamentary correspondent Nia Ikukan has more in the following report.
Armed men numbering about 20 and led by Richard Jakpa, Director of Special Operations at the National Security Secretariat, conducted a search at the private residence of the former governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison. Addressing journalists on the matter, the minority caucus alleged that the national security officers stole an amount of 10,000 Ghana cedis and jewelries from the former governor of the central bank. The caucus, led by Alexander Apenyomarkin, called on President Mahama to halt such Rambo-style approaches towards former government appointees.
Unfortunately for the governor, some 10,000 cedis on his bed could not be found. So some of these hungry party foot soldiers that they use, who parade themselves as national security operatives, after all, perhaps not even being paid, and they use this opportunity to steal. The governor's wife's earrings and necklaces were also not traced. They couldn't be found. In other words, those operatives stole these earrings and necklaces.
The House continued with its debate on the 2025 budget presented by the Finance Minister, Dr. Kasia Latofosen.
In 2011, the NDC government then embarked on SIM card registration exercise. It was done successfully without problems. It was done with the collaboration of all stakeholders in the industry. Mr. Speaker, when the NPP took over, they decided to re-register SIM cards, and I can tell you that as an industry person, we have gotten back to zero. There is nothing that has happened. And I can say...
All right, so a quick report there on the happenings in Parliament. Apenyomarkin there addressing the press on the happenings of Wednesday at the former governor of the Bank of Ghana's residence. Let's kickstart our discussion. COP retired Bright Oduro, former Director General of CID is here. Sir, good morning. Welcome to the program.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure to have you. I mean, how have you been? How is retirement?
Oh, retirement has been more relaxing. I've been retired for since 2018, so it's 7 years retirement, and I think it's really more relaxing. And you set your own agenda for the day. There's no pressure, so it's quite amazing, beautiful. Provided that probably you have the means to live like a retired officer.
I see. So, I mean, you've been away for 7 years, retired, and watching from a distance what you've done your whole life, policing. What will be your assessment of the police service we have it now compared to what you left behind?
Are you talking about the new administration?
I mean, no, since you left. I mean, the events that have happened.
Things were working normally. I think the successive IGPs were doing quite well. I think there were no complaints about them, more or less. We didn't have so many concerns being expressed by the police officers who were in and who were out until probably Dampari became the IGP. Initially, he started very well, but along the line, I think he decided to tow a certain direction which didn't augur well for the generality of the police officers. There are a number of things that he did which did not sit well with the police and even some of us who had retired. And I believe there were people who were trying to give advice, but he wouldn't take. And so with Dampare's administration, there were so many question marks.
But the issue about Ghanaians is that when somebody comes into an office and the person is strict, the person tries to do the right things, the person blocks loopholes that hitherto people benefited from, the man is given a bad name and hanged. Is that not the same thing, perhaps, that Dampare faced?
Can you tell me of any loophole that he blocked?
No, because, for example, we know a lot of the police people have body cams, police people stopping you, trying to extort money and all of that. We understand now they have body cams, so if they are doing those things...
You think they have body cams now? And you think maybe the extortion on the roads have stopped or what?
They may not have stopped, but at least when it's happening now, they know that somebody may be watching. Now we see a lot of motorbikes around, police people around every corner, visibility, people see them, they are happy.
The motorbikes have been procured for patrols. And whoever is the IGP will use them for patrols. You cannot just keep the motorbikes. There are, of course, some motorbikes where at some of the places which were not being used. I visited Bolga one day. So many of the motorbikes sitting in the open.
Why would they not use?
And then, I don't know. So if you have the motorbikes, you use them. If you have vehicles, you use them. If you have the logistics, you use them. And anybody would have done the same thing. But if there's complete discontentment among the officers who are working under you, disciplinary matters. People say discipline. What discipline? Discipline is when you don't place junior officers over and above their senior officers. At certain districts, you could see an assistant superintendent of police in charge. When chief superintendent are in charge of DOFSU under the ASP, superintendent in charge of crime under ASP, you call this discipline. So many of them, about 6 or 7 districts we had this. And apart from that, the consultation on his part was poor. And he decided to tow his own way. Tow his own direction.
But there was an impression created as like he always consulted the police board. I don't know what you call the
management board.
Management board.
There was complete division.
And in fact, when he appeared before the parliamentary committee, we saw the entire police board behind him, creating the picture of a united front. And that's
you should understand, because if it's the IGP and he asks you to come, won't you come? You have to come. But the point is, there was complete division, even prior to his removal. Puma was not Puma, because he would call the people that he liked or the people who were aligned to him more closely to have meetings with. And we learned even his own staff officer he was not on good terms with. He was not being called for meetings. Certain things that happened, promotions of officers junior, were let's say, promoted over and above.
How does it work? If I'm junior to you, it means I'll be junior to you my whole life.
You should be junior to him your whole life, unless probably you do something extraordinarily and then you are promoted. Even those days, if a junior does something extraordinarily and is recommended, especially when you are an officer. As for officers, we don't just promote them. It is your job to do well, to do diligent job. And so officers from ASP and above, rarely would you see anybody being promoted. I did my part. I never had any promotion. The arrest of dangerous criminal, every dangerous criminal in our time, if you talk about Combia, if you talk about Ataa, if you talk about Lone Ranger, I was behind all these arrests. Did I earn even a single promotion? I didn't.
Because it was your job, right?
Yes, it is my job. But if somebody decides to say, oh, Mr. Oduro did well, let us recommend him for promotion. And even in my time, if I had been recommended for special promotion, I don't think anybody would have spoken against it. But I never benefited. And I wasn't disturbed because it was my job. So for if an ASP is promoted, DSP, the next day superintendent, the next day chief superintendent, what has he done that others have not done? And it's not only one person. The whole junior group, a whole course group are promoted over and above their seniors who, let's say, were 3 jumps ahead of them. And you think they will be satisfied? So there were quite a number of things that he himself decided to do without following due process. We have the service instructions, we have the CI 76 that spell out how transfers, how promotions should be done. But these structures were ignored.
But he surely might have done, of course, people, so maybe the opinions are divided. But surely, even for those who think he